Hey dear ones, I'm Jenny Solaria Delfini, and with a video on energetic protection, whether it even exists, how you can do it. And yes, I have to follow on a bit from my last video, where I simply talked about the properties of the NewCage ledger, because that was actually the main reason why I made the last video. The energetic protection, which is being downplayed by many NewCage priests on the internet, and there are statements like that on the internet, which are also really nicely flattened in many videos. So there are, for example, participants then go to the NewCast teachers and ask, I always feel so drained with a certain person, and I need a bit of energetic protection. Can you tell me something? And the answer is then, and this is just so typical of the whole scene, I've been hearing this for many, many years. Yes, my child. So if you want to have energetic protection, it's best to work a little, go into love, and then everything is good and important for work. So these are the summaries, the answers that you get. And I'm so upset that the people who say these things simply have no idea that there are tools. You yourself are the greatest resource. So that's the answer, and of course your consciousness is the tool. But what they don't want is for you to realize that and for you to be able to work with your precious being and free yourself here. Rather, the most important thing for them is that you continue to live but think that you have developed spiritually. This is the top no. So at the end of this audio recording, I'm just going to summarize key points about the NewCage teachers. All those because I couldn't find my recording documents in the last video, but I really wanted it to come out, and I've now collected it again, which I'll read out very quickly, and then you can make your ticks and you'll recognize many, many things. So how you can best protect yourself is a long, long way in your own life and in your own path, and with the sum of your decisions and with your growing knowledge with it. Consciousness and knowledge are connected. This means that first of all, you need to know where you actually are here. And that is also the question with which most people became spiritual in the first place. At some point, he asked himself the question, hey, what am I actually doing here? And then maybe you look at the stars for a bit and ask yourself, maybe I'm going somewhere else, or maybe there are still a few friends of mine. In any case, you wake up. Yes, that is the question. Exactly. And that is what should actually have been dealt with first, which is not found in the Vedic scriptures or anywhere else, neither in the Bible nor in others. What is this place where we are? Yes, and I can summarize that again because I would need a whole seminar day for that, or preferably a 7-day seminar. I take my Matrix seminar. If you are interested, you can also order it online. Yes, so we're locked into a giant hologram here, and I'll just summarize that briefly. And yes, we are being sucked dry here. Our job is to produce energy and to put up with the fact that they can simply drink us wherever we are. Yes, so they make it nice for us here. And if you want to order something from the universe, then of course you'll get it. Because the most important thing for them is that a good slave is only a good slave as long as he doesn't know that he is a slave. And another important one, if they don't know where they came from, they won't know how to get home again. And then something else that is very important for them here, give something that is us a name and you can rule over it. Make yourselves really aware of these sayings, they're not mine. Usand are from the ancient Babylonian Empire and much, much, much earlier. These are the sayings of high-grade Illuminati. They are all one and the same soup. The NewCage and the Satanists are one and the same industry. Yes, I know, we can do something else with me for that. I don't care because I'm through. I am here to wake people up and to tell them the truth. And not because I read it somewhere, because I thought it up somewhere, because I want to catch you, because I need your money. No, I haven't needed that for a long time. I make these videos for free because I simply don't know what to do with all these insights and knowledge. It's such a shame when I take it with me and nobody knows, and I could simply accompany many people on their journey. That's the reason why I make the videos. And it's actually the case that if you do that, or I've had the experience that there are tools, and I've also developed applications and aids to help us resist being sucked dry, and that we can be at least a little less with ourselves. It bothers them a lot when we make ourselves free here. And I have had many, many experiences of what they do with people who are awake. Because as long as they leave you alone and you're not really, shall I say, visited by people you'd rather not meet, but who can't do anything about you either, they are not allowed to hurt us either. So you don't need to be afraid of what I say, you send. But they will keep an eye on you and they will make sure that you don't make life difficult. So when it starts happening in your life that you're like, bruh, what happened now? How could they prevent me from going there so easily? And that they start working against you has only one important reason, that you are just right, that you are too good, that you are too awake. So they have to look after you. And they don't make you comfortable in this matrix. The NewCage teachers would say, yes, watch out, you're not compatible. You still have to adapt a little, get into the Earth's vibration a little, and observe the law of resonance. And above all, the mirror laws. Because when you're done with your issues and you've worked on your dark secret, then you'll have a good life on this earth. And that is indeed the case if you start to deal with the mirror issue and completely worship an idol, and of course also worship God or his entourage up to angels and so on, then you will be left alone. That is definitely the case. But then you will only be left in peace and have the best energetic protection. You can call Michael, he's such a Eos, nice colleague of God. Yes, then you can just say, look after me a bit too. I also do everything you say. Yes, and then of course he says, watch out, I'll just send your soul a little further away so that it can't shake you awake anymore. And I take the lead. But Michael's brother-in-law is even more important. Jesus, he's really great because he's the only one who can do it, of course. That's what every Christian says. Esos says it all. So this is the Savior. Yes. If you don't work with Jesus, then it's over for you. You won't even go to heaven or get out of here. You'll go straight to the underworld if you don't worship him, yes, or ask him for help. It's logical, of course. We were born with the name on our foreheads because it's the only sensible one here. Of course, the most important thing is that he is also a man who has full access, yes, because he can have children, he regularly receives a soul with his whole body, so to speak. Yes, so that doesn't mean that I believe that there are also men who have a high level of consciousness, but probably femininity, which is totally ignored in the church, doesn't come into NewCage at all. Those are all men up there, yes. So most of them, Mary Magdalene can of course also call, but not a donation, 2,000 a special task is not such a special agent. Yes, the one who takes out a few dead people, who is a bit kind. Yes, that makes a bit of love and so on. The women can do that. So if now, to stop making a fuss about it, you should just know that this is their only technique. First of all, it's something you learn at school for many years. The person standing in front of you knows it and you don't. That means that you only learn in school for 13 years, that if you have a question, you have to ask someone else, the one who is at the top, who is in front of you, who has more power over you, who simply has the better knowledge. Yes, and therefore the only thing we have learned from school is that when we go out into our lives, we always know in the end that you have to ask someone else. Someone who knows, ask someone who knows. Follow the one who has the most fans, who can talk the biggest, who can inspire you with logical constructs that don't correspond to reality at all. Mental trainer is the answer. Yes, mental coaches are nothing because your teacher is nothing but a mental coach. Wonderful. So the response from every teacher in our entire lives was, you have to work on yourself. Do the vocabulary. I'm already giving you homework. Do your homework and you will find the solution. There are many who have done their homework, who are fantastically well developed and who have achieved nothing in their lives. You send. Because you can also see that they are holding you back in your life. What has changed in your life after your NewCage training? Is everything still the same? Are you still at the same job with the same man or with the same woman? The same friends, family, every Easter, Christmas, and so on, and birthdays. Exactly, nothing has changed. On the contrary, you are even loyal to the system. So, and I'm not telling you all about it now because I got off topic and forgot to talk about energetic protection, but because this is all the awareness you need to be a protection to yourself from what's out there for you. And I could go on for much, much longer. It's really important for me that, once again, that the energetic protection comes from your waking consciousness. Because the next time you're standing in front of a person who wants to suck you dry again, because that's the main employment contract here on earth, you can defend yourself. Yes, and it's not just me who has had this experience, but many thousands of my students who I have taught this to, who can still tell you today, watch out, Jenny Solaria Delfini has developed spiritual emotional help. And with the help of intentions prayers, you can keep these cattle at bay. You can cleanse yourself because it's not as if you notice them straight away. And sometimes you only realize it a day later. Take a look at how you look the next morning. As you stand on the bed, you think about who you were with yesterday. Do you know what's been going on all night? It's like a drinking glass. So no vampire drinks the glass on X. My goodness, we taste far too good. They take their time, they sip a little something every hour, then they chat again, then they sip again, then they chat at you again so that you send completely different thoughts. And above all, you realize that when you're left out by someone, that you're basically still carrying on the conversation. Even though you've long since picked up the phone or finished the meeting, you're still talking in the car, thinking about what else you should have said, and you don't wake up at all. So you get drunk. This is the point. You can't be dense. You are not dense. That's it. 2021. Whenever I leave a room or stop talking about a person, I immediately have all my wits about me again. And that is not the case. For most vampires, the process is quite simple. I don't want to talk about the special cases now. This is during a second video with which practice or tactic they manage to hack your energetic shield. They do it very subtly. That's so super professional, guys, really, that's right. Our jaws drop at how good they are at black magic. And that brings us to the main topic. So if you have arrived here on this labor camp planet, that may also have happened voluntarily, so we are not all locked up here or have been in the incarnation loop of these nice employers for years. But it may also be that you are here voluntarily simply to give the souls who are really so blatantly run down here a chance to reach out your hand, that they can take your hand and say, yes, I trust my soul guidance again. These are the fallen angels. These are the ones who really trusted the snake at some point, who trusted the matrix, who also believed. And it is in our nature to believe that evil, that we can trust it, that we can fix it, that we can convert a devilishly possessed person. Let's take the highest Illuminati now, and that he will come back to love. That was the plan behind why we went into the matrix. And unfortunately, many of us have fallen because we simply don't know what else to do apart from say yes all day. Take my energy, I'm here for you, I love you, we are bleeding to death here, and that is not enough. They don't come back home, and it's okay, as long as we're here, they won't go home. I would like to tell you that at this point. So everyone listening to me, whether consciously or unconsciously, it was a great plan to come here and provide them with love, which we have done from birth. But we also need to know when we have lost, or lost, I don't know, when we should simply take a different path because it is not successful. Yes, and the other way is that we are leaving now, this point, and then they can only wake up when they no longer have a battery or a lollipop to lick. That's right. We are walking lollipops, did you know that? No matter where we are, in every store, they suck us off, you can tell. Sometimes it's so bad, the demons at the stores, that you can't remember where you parked. You don't need to know your name or where you live, there's not much left. But they always leave us a bit in limbo. Don't really let us live, but don't let us die either, because otherwise we are useless. Yes, that's what medicine and doctors do. So we don't have to work on ourselves. That is one of the most important sentences from the new You Have to Work on Yourself. It will get better. And then it is not attacked energetically. No, we don't have to work on ourselves. We are, and you can see this now, perfectly born with such a large high energy protective shield that if we fall down the stairs as a baby, absolutely nothing can happen to us. But I'm only talking about those that actually come from the source. In other words, I just have to grind a bit more awareness into it. Most people don't know that. This is the case here on Earth, so to that we are not alone here, but that we have 90% of the people on Earth today who are the result of extraterrestrial hybridization. And as such, they have genetic reptiloid and insectoid predispositions that also allow them to be a host body, that is a portal, an ongoing portal to a variety of extraterrestrial dimensional entities. These are truly organic portals. They have bred them in order to actually launch psychological warfare against humanity, which originally lived in harmony and vibrated out of love. That's the only way. With the Trojan horse, it was done here on a grand scale. Yes, and so it's like this, that 90% of people have a predatory mind and are also exposed to it and can be controlled via these reptiloid genetics from completely far away. I'm not saying planets, it's just other discs on which they can direct us, and via this energy, via this astral projection that can start. This is remote monitoring. That's why Big Brother is watching you through the eyes and through the bodies of many other people here on Earth. And also, I have to say, through matter, even through plants and animals, they can monitor us. It's always been like that as a child. Any of you who have access to your source know that we were afraid in the dark. We feel like someone is watching our back. No matter where it is, we start whispering certain names instinctively. Even as children, we do this because we somehow have the feeling that we are being heard. Yes, your walls have ears, just as they can hear what I'm saying here now. They know what I'm about to publish on the internet hours in advance. I can also record this to the second on the internet. The fact is, they can't do anything about it. It is a cosmic law that if someone speaks the truth from his own center, Yusan does not use polarity tools, but speaks from his heart, that they must not attack him. Because it's my truth and I have the right to it, and so do you. And if you have the feeling that you're being sucked dry, then that's the truth. And you should never doubt that, and you should never have any mental technician, i.e. a running portal. Yes, which can generate hyper-intelligent answers because it is controlled remotely by the AI itself, which has a great answer for everything and can refute everything, yes. You shouldn't listen to that. You should only listen to your feelings. And that is a very important point, to know that what surrounds us here on Earth is pure black magic. We are not on Earth. In my opinion, we are on Saturn. Yes. So, of course, the question also arises. Saturn is one of the most satanic planets of all, which is why they also show all these signs, the politicians, and also in the NewCage, the pyramids and everything that is used there is for Saturn, because the pyramid is the symbol of souls being held captive. If you are ensouled and enter a pyramid, your soul is gone. She's locked up, she's trapped. This is a construct in which you can no longer move. In specialist circles, this is also known as a cosmic prison, and the entire Earth is full of black magic. And the reptiles and the insectoids are simply one species. For example, the Africans. Yes, I don't want to compare them with each other. I'm just taking the example that everyone has their own tradition and their own way of functioning in their consciousness. Africans use magic. That's really important for them. It's not like there's a lawyer and then you sue your neighbor for putting the post too far onto your property. No, they go to the bogeyman and curse their neighbor. What can I say? That's not bad. It's normal there. And it's just as normal for the reptiles and the aliens. The multitude of aliens who control the hybrid bodies here also only know magic. They use our minds. They use black magic all the time, in various forms. They use projection magic, in case you haven't noticed. You go to the supermarket somewhere and want to buy certain things, but end up buying completely different things. That is magic. Projection magic. Come on, buy me. Yes, no. I'm on offer to save you money. These are the magical statements. Sexual magic, enchantment magic, through certain things they tell you, and certain ones. There are men who are simple. Or women, they just look so awful. And there are so many other people who think that this is magic. Enchantment, love magic, battle magic. Did you know that battle magic exists? That they consciously use battle magic at certain times of the day, and especially with very, very high vibrating people. They want you to argue so that the energy can't build up. Because when the energy of love or harmony and peace, where two people love each other, and this is already achieved by a mother and child or a man and woman who love each other, is turned off, then conflict magic has to come in. Because when they get bigger, and when the growing neutrino fields become common, then you switch off the duality here. Then the light goes out in Saturn. And the problem is, if we can't see what we can't see, I'll call it dark matter now. Scientifically speaking, yes, it makes up another 60% here that we can't see, but we can switch it off energetically, astrally, with love. And if that's the case when the sliding doors of your supermarket don't open, then you're public enemy number one. You are so dangerous because you can actually, seriously, you can bring down your airplane, you can cause a blackout, you can make people drop dead because they have a short circuit in their brain. I am actually talking about experiences from my own life. And you can also give people hybrid commands, unconsciously. You can control them. You can really steer an official like that if you need to. Just tell him what to do and he'll do it. But it really only works at a very, very specific frequency. And this is so dangerous for them that they pay attention and use these forms of magic. And battle magic is the classic. They won't let you argue about anything. Anger, hatred, wrath magic, curse magic. Do you know what they do with our astral bodies all the time? And all night long we are being damaged, written to, that we are stupid, that we can do this with a plant. Yes, the plant lives on, you don't have to worry about it. But put 2 plants in your room and one you love for a whole week and the other you insult for a whole week. And then please write me an email and send me the 2 pictures of which plant is still alive. And that's what they do with us. And from an area that we cannot see with our physical eyes, but which you can feel very well. And we feel that when people are running portals, we want, then our stomach tightens, and then we say, oh no, not him again. Please don't talk to me today. Not even because I'm well behaved. I'm not talking to you today. You have to learn that. Part of this awareness and awakening is that you avoid certain people, places, and events where you know exactly that I was at the birthday party last year, after which I felt really bad, and this year I've been invited again. Let me just say Christmas. You know exactly how shitty you are, and you participate in this huge, gigantic, satanic ritual most of the time. So that can't be true. Nobody learns anything here. Brainwashing school. Yes, back to the magic. You take erasure magic. They can just, if you have a thought and are actually totally thrilled to have had a bold realization, that could erase that in 5 minutes. And then it's that moment when you say, oh shit, I forgot, I simply forgot. Erasure magic, they can object to mirroring dream influences. They have an incredibly wide range of skills, controlling the dimensions of people with thoughts. You only need the agreement that this person is automatically controlled if he has had my realization at some point in his life and has said, I am not right as I am not good enough. Think about school, think about your parents. If you have given them permission for you to stop listening to yourself, then they can talk to you for the rest of your life, from morning till night. Yes. Well, I mean, did you actually know that there is no fantasy, but that what you see there is reality? Because with the small percentage that we have, i.e., 5 to 10%, our brain is only working to capacity. We can't create anything, we can only react. We are in a reptiloid state. We have not been able to use or apply any of our vast abilities here on Earth because everything is full of magic. Every tree, every plant, every house, antennas for miles around, not because they are evil. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go out into nature, you should go out into nature. But if a tree isn't good for you, then don't hug it. If you feel in nature, this is a dark corner, then go and don't start with this NewCage talk, that's all, it's all good. Of course, I'll make a few intentions prayers, and then the corner will be clean again. This is the place where accidents happen all the time on the road, always in the same place. Yes, folks, it's a portal. There are so many vampires sitting there that they just say, hey, customs office, this is where you pay. An astral is an astral customs office. They pay with souls, with everyone who doesn't have all the cups in the cupboard. They can be controlled remotely. They suddenly can't see anything. I talked to people who have had an accident and said that I suddenly felt dizzy. I don't know, I felt sick just before, then my eyes went black and I was up the tree. Class. Really fat projection magic. They play such nasty games with us that they see us but we don't see them. But as I said, there are people like me and many others who have seen through it. And it's like looking for a needle in a haystack to find someone who isn't being talked at on the side from another dimension. And basically just make sure that you don't get back into your self-empowerment and keep running to him and having all your energy sucked out of you again instead of getting something where you can build something yourself. A few facts from his life that he really put into practice. You have seen NewCage video, so it's very important that the Dark Ones can't create anything. You should know that. And that is our energetic protection. This is more or less where it starts. Here we are at the point where you can slowly grasp what I'm getting at. They are there and can suck us off, but only as long as we don't know they are there. When you are awake and you feel that, you don't have to believe me. Nobody should believe anything I say out there. But if you resonate emotionally with any statement I make, and you feel that it is the truth, then leave it at that and accept that truth. And if you succeed, you can also try it out for 2 weeks. And if that's not your thing, then put it down and run to a NewCage teacher. Then you can use your consciousness, your own mind, and your clarity to ward off accidents and defend yourself energetically. I'll give you an example. Yes, I just have to give you an example. Then you can do it much better because we are creative. And they don't expect that, the little maggots. No, they're not counting on it. They think, my goodness, they're so stupid, we're dancing on their noses, you sand. And they can't defend themselves. Oh, yes. So, and I have to say right away that with the help of my tools and the way I managed it, you should perhaps wake up just like I did. Then you're at war. Your whole family, all the possible bodies that they use, that they inhabit, that they have coupled together, that they have set channels, portals, anchors, in order to speak about the then. If you send one way, they'll send the next because, for example, brother and sister. Then he's not gone, he's still here. So you really have to terminate 99% of all connections to even have a chance of getting out of this huge net and seeing the truth. And everyone who is good at telling you that you're doing it right, get out. They really are the same victims as you because that's what they actually wanted. And they support you, they won't start talking against you and your escape from Alcatraz. Who does that? This can only be one of the same kind. Yes, isn't it? He hasn't got all his eggs in one basket. This means that it is more than 50% controlled by the aliens. He can still be a soul, but he's not quite right at the moment, so you can't trust him. I mean, everyone wants to get out of prison, right? After all, this is our greatest wish, to live in love and gratitude. But they do everything they can to ensure that we don't do that here on this earth. I told you why. Because then you turn off the lanterns on Saturn. Then it's like in the Truman Show, at some point a spotlight comes down and lies at your feet. So don't do that, don't mess with everyone, but you can stake out your territory. You can defend yourself so strongly that you can get into my house, into my property, into my apartment. I need a place where I can be with myself. That's the second thing. And it works. You just can't let anyone in. No one. Absolutely no one. It is your sacred space. Just because it's family, yes, these families, they are chosen for you. Warden. Exactly. Your guards, these are the guards in front of your prison cell. Not all of them are. They're not stupid either. That would be stupid. They don't always do the same thing. Yes, one has 3 guards, the other only 1. Depending on what kind of outbreak risk you pose. Sometimes there are 3 souls in one family, but very rarely. But you feel that, you knew that. If I say it now, the person has already found this is no longer the case, that you need a long time to think about it. Truth and wisdom are immediately available. There is no need to work out powers to the power of 10 or use a calculator. It's in you immediately, yes. And now to the example. Let me give you an example. So I was talking to a couple, which was of course in a different language. And the woman already had Alzheimer's anyway. You've already seen from the way she walked that it's not human from her posture. Well, not to mention the smell, but what can you do? You love everyone here on Earth. So we talk, and I think, well, the conversation wouldn't last longer than 10 minutes. We had a document that we looked at, what we looked at. And it was suddenly so that I think I finally want to get up. I realize all the time that they're talking and talking and talking, and my inner voice says, no, you have to get out of here now. I can't take anymore. They're sucking you dry. But they don't let me get a word in edgewise. I actually wanted to say the whole time, okay, all right, I've got it, guys. You don't have to drag it out again, please. I just want to get out of this fucking enchantment magic, out of the paralysis magic that happens here with your voice and with your aura. And I couldn't move. I don't know if it's good parenting. Of course, I was brought up well, but I couldn't. And then I just said, okay, guys, that's it. I have become angry. I didn't let on, of course, but inside I was furious that they wouldn't give me the chance to go out. And they were also physically close to me, so both people were standing roughly 1 meter away from me because we were concentrating on one paper and we both had it in our hands. And then I did the following. I just spoke intentions, prayers, and used mental emotional helping and said, okay, if either of you is a reptile or a mantis or any vampire from any planet, I am now withdrawing the energy from you that you have been stealing from me all this time, and the permission for you to ever do that again. And so I thought that, and that's the beauty, is now the advantage again. After all, they can control our thoughts. This means that they have an influence on our thoughts. And that would be a logical consequence. They can hear me when I'm chatting to them. That's telepathy, so to speak. Any of you can. You can telepathize with the dark forces. And do you know what happened in this S? My husband was still standing next to me, as he knows about the things I use. And at that moment, it was totally clear to him that I had just done something. I just got out of my aura when one of you two is a reptile. And now the following has happened. The wife of the two jumped backwards like a sentence. She walked backwards, 2 meters backwards. You have to imagine it like an aerial photograph. She has stretched her hands upwards and still wants to go forward. It was as if she was leaning against an invisible wall and wanted to get back into the circle with us. But she couldn't, because I had forbidden her to do that. And at that moment we all turned around and asked what's wrong with her. It looked as if her nose was being pressed flat by a plexiglass pane. And then my husband says, "What have you done with her?" I say that's a reptile. I no longer wanted my aura. I got my energy back with just the S, yawning so hard I almost fell over. I was already embarrassed. And yawning is the most important tool of all. That's how you know that someone is sucking you dry. The replacement is already your own. Do you know how our astral body actually defends itself from morning to night? and we simply ignore it and disregard ourselves. Who was working? Top performance, you can assume that. And if you now start to work with your spirit in addition and help it, what do you think you are capable of? You can really tear up trees, I mean that seriously. You can inflict real damage on this matrix if they get too close to you. Yes, you can have trees brought down just because you have spoken an intention. To clean your house, a tree can topple over and fall on the spot where, for example, was an astral portal. Yes, that is possible. You won't be aware of how things happen, but there really are no coincidences here. And I have had many, many more experiences like this. I have, e.g., those long conversations where you're already thinking, I finally want to do laundry and I still want to do my bookkeeping, I still have a lot to do, diaper changes, and so you can get to the, yes, these are always, if you were to talk to a soul that is not connected to such an entity, it would sense that you are in a hurry. You know those people who speak to you from the heart, who immediately say, I feel today is not a good day, we'll meet again tomorrow. You haven't even started talking yet, he feels it, he senses at 3 km that something is wrong with you. Yes, well, they are also the good hybrids. They are also equipped with good programs so that they can pretend to be a soul. So don't trust just anyone. You have to check this over the years. Over the years, the person really has to let himself be tested that he... And if it's just a flashy thing, then it's best not to trust it. Yes, it really must. What can I say? That's a real observation task, because they are the really good special agents. They're awesome. They are not visible to me either. Yes, I'm still there. I don't trust anyone 100%. I can tell you that. Only me. And that's what I would recommend. Nobody. Because somewhere she can always find all people who are not fully connected within themselves, where not all chakras resonate with each other. This means that they are not completely sealed. And if it's only 2%, something else can squeak through. Make sure that you get your chakras tight, that you develop them all, that you free yourself from this magic, that you get out of the fear, because they can't do anything. Think back to my example, it flies 2 backwards. Nothing, absolutely nothing. She couldn't attack me or anything else. And that is the moment when you come into your power. And all it takes is a few examples, a few realizations that will convince you more and more in your life that you are right, so that no one can ever talk you out of it again. And anyone who does this at all should be thrown out anyway. Anyone who doubts you will be thrown out. Just throw it out. Has no business in your house. Yes? Because he sabotages you just by being there. Even if he loves you, it doesn't matter. Love is not all consciousness. We also need awareness in order to be able to truly love. Yes? And being nice is totally unimportant. Anyone can do that. Fully hybrid. Yes, they're all lovely, aren't they? The little crocodiles, and so cute, aren't they? Everyone is so sweet. Yes, but they don't help me. They can attack me because they are not conscious. So it's not them either. And it's very important for me to say again that the more experience you gain, the more years you need to be able to protect yourself energetically. You need awareness, insights, matrix knowledge. You have to go to people who actually give you the tools. Then you will be able to protect yourself. And that's what I'm getting at. It's a beautiful use and end result, which I can also say after all these years. When they hear my name, they run. They run. When they see the all-human lying somewhere, they run, because they know which consciousness is behind it. And I'll give you a few more examples. If you can't afford to buy the Unity Man, which is nothing more than a perfect body, it is once again coupled to your etheric body in terms of coordinates and alignment, and can therefore, think again, this is a conductive metal, implement your thoughts and your impulses and your intentions, prayers, much faster than your body, which is full of heavy metals or things that don't conduct as well. If we only consist of water and have soul nutrition, then we no longer need a single person. However, as long as we are still in the condensation phase and not all chakras are on top of each other, it makes sense to use these tools. But we'll also come straight to what kind of tools they really aren't. In any case, if you can't afford one, you can simply draw it in the air of a room and draw another 3 circles around it. Right round, please. Then you'll see all the ashen people leaving the room en masse. It will crack and pop, and all the dark shadows and the foggy things that were in your room will all be gone, and you'll be in a good mood in this place. You can laugh again. Everywhere you can't laugh, there they are. It's a mass event. On the other hand, people who can no longer laugh, whose mouths are already drawn downwards when they smile, are completely part of this team. These are Trojan horses. So that's one of the most important points. Start playing a little with your skills, but don't make any satanic drawings. Don't use runes or crosses or anything. So you can also draw an isosceles cross, but it has to be extremely correct. Otherwise, you'll open a portal in the air to the astral plane, just like the church crosses are. They're transitional portals, so to speak. These are virtually leaking window cracks through which they reach up to the cross. Can attack you, but massively. Always ask the people who were in my seminars, who were in church before and wanted to replace this cross, what else happened to them that day? They either fell off their chairs because they wanted to remove the cross in their kitchen. Yes, so please, which instrument of love is attacking you? Hello? It must be ringing in our heads. Yes, so that's one of the most important tools and what I find totally valuable, which is obviously for my eyes. When I have tidied up a room and everything is deliberately in its place, the drawers have to be closed, the cupboard doors have to be shut. So these beasts don't like order and cleanliness. That is unpleasant. They can't stay as well because you could see them. And do you know on which color you can see and perceive them best? Even if you can't see them physically, you can perceive them better on white. Which is why I've been running in white for many years and why I tell everyone about it. I don't care what you think about me. I am not a guru aunt, and I have read in some Bible that they are white, the masters. No, I do it for myself, for energetic physical reasons, so that I simply know that they can't take a seat with me so easily. I will feel them. 3 kilometers into the headwind, I can feel when someone wants to suck me off, I'm wearing white because my house is white, my apartment is white, my bed is white. And if there's any shadow on it, it's wiped away, but it doesn't come back because they know they can't get in. You don't have to do 100%, but you should aim for 80%, then you'll already have a bit of energy under control. So order, cleanliness, and the color white is a very, very important tool. And you can also, well, I don't know, these thoughts don't come from you anyway if you think something like that about me. Who knows who Jenny is? Perhaps she was also talking about this dark one. You know what? Just give it a try, okay? Set yourself a time frame of 2 weeks. Go for 2 weeks in white. Cover up with some cheap sheets because most of them have financial problems, which is intentional. That's magic. They can twist your root chakra in such a way that you simply don't get anywhere financially in your life so that you don't break out. Do you understand? You're just too weak to go home. Plan no. 1 out, throw it away. You must free your life from parasites, both physical and energetic ones. And you will get out of it. You will produce energy. So try it out first, in a completely neutral way, just like you used to do as a child. We were always open to things and tried out certain things to gain our own experience. And once you've had the experience, you don't need to tell anyone out there that you heard it from me. The only important thing for me is that you start to make your own experiences. And please don't compare me to some teacher sitting at the front counter who now wants you to call him every weekend. Don't you dare bother me. I am giving you this information so that you can do something with it yourself. And I am not a leader, I'm not a cult guru or anything else, but I am someone who has set himself free. And I just want to show everyone who appreciates this and feels it, you can see it just by my name and on my homepage, what I am. And if you have a chance and came to me at all, came to my site at all, then you deserve a chance. And your soul has worked really hard for that, considering how many dark shadows are crouching around everywhere trying to prevent it. Then take this chance and try it for 14 days. Make your experiences and you will see that you will never want to take off the white again. And that's what happened to me. Sorry, it just happened. I tried something. I sleep on the board at home. I don't need a bed. I can love on the floor anywhere because I know how it works. Simply be compatible with your consciousness, with your body, and do not allow yourself to become dependent on this matrix. Nothing out there makes you happy in any way. Be aware, and not other people will make you happy. Remember that. So these are the most important things, also in protection. And don't expect anyone out there to be able to help you. Nobody can help you, not even I can help you, if you don't help yourself. You're the one who has to get up and throw the cattle out the door. And so radically that they don't have time to wrap you up in their spider webs and projection magic again. What do you think of how most auras look like a wrapped cocoon? You are so glued together that you can no longer open your eyes. And as soon as you open any homepage on the internet, you're wrapped up again. Yes, but they are in the majority. There are so few of us that you can count them on your hand. That's how few we are. Yes. Phew, it's out for now. Of course, I have much more to say, but I'm getting too far into it now and it's getting far too long. In any case, I would like to say something here at the end about energizing products, which are also available on the market for energetic protection. So once again to the energetic protection. The most important thing is the intentions prayers and learning to help mentally and emotionally. You can find very inexpensive intention cards for $10 on my homepage, which are priceless. So today I would spend $1,000 per card because I know how many times they have restored me so that I could think clearly the next day in my power, even though I was in places you would rather not go. Yes, but that's where you get pushed. You have to give seminars in places that are really not clean. That really is madness. All the others suddenly had no free time, so you have to restore yourself. You are being taken care of by your own children, by your own partner. Trust no one. Everyone is a victim of this magic. And if you want to get out of it, the first thing you have to do is help yourself. And if you stand like a lighthouse in the night, you will see everyone who tries to approach you across the water. And you can shoot them from a distance. Remember that. And if the others are not lighthouses next to you, then either turn them on or leave them. Everyone who wants to go with you, if you tell them your plan to break out of Alcatraz and they go with you, then they have to do the same thing every day. You can't be the only one who speaks intentions prayers and says, well, I'll speak intentions prayers for you. That's not how it works. Everyone is a huge package and everyone has to put the same thing into the basket of the partnership or the family. It is not a case of one for all. Yes, that doesn't work. All for one. Exactly. We all have to. Helping yourself together. That's what we do. Okay. Don't be sad. There are more beacons that you may not be able to see because you don't know me or my customers, but they are everywhere. We shine worldwide. We are here. And when you start to work, you will feel what power can be behind you astrally. You can only feel most of it. But I would also say, I have to be fair, that there are also forms of magic where you can influence your feelings. But often only in connection with matter or on days when you're already down anyway. And it's always a very important characteristic that if you don't feel recharged, refueled, motivated to do something or change something, or simply touched in your heart after the contact or after a video, then it's not. Then it doesn't help you, but it has done something to you to either paralyze you or leave you standing. And that is also, and this is where I come back to the topic, energetic tools. There are so many suppliers of black Towan boxes and whatnot, mostly produced in Switzerland, quite interesting, but also in Austria or Germany. Things that simply have no charisma. If you need to be talked into a product, there are often pages full of advertising and testimonials and videos, and most importantly, why you need to buy it. Yes, I don't need any of that. Firstly, it is very important that my products or what I make myself appeal to you. The product talks to you, not to your head. Buy me, buy me. No, it touches your heart. It touches you deeply emotionally. You know what? That is a key. It gives me strength just to be with myself. Every product you get in my store is an energetic aid to protect you from black magic. And in such a way that it helps you yourself. Whatever IVIS system you buy, you will notice it in the water. If 3 people who know each other buy an IVIS system and each person tries the other's water, it always tastes different because the IVIS is not the IVIS. If you buy this, it is in your energy. That's taken over from me. You don't have access to me, and I don't have access to you because I don't want to be responsible for others. I am simply giving you the chance to do with yourselves what I have done with myself. Then it becomes you. This IWEEZ works and communicates exclusively with you, and that's why it tastes totally different. So it is never the same water, but it should have energy pearls everywhere. Then you are practically on the way to being able to build up your energy. And it is the same with all other products. Each soul keeper attaches completely differently when someone has worn it, because it itself is reflected in this crystal at some point, so to speak. Just as a single person does not have the same energy everywhere. They are neutral products that can become your own individual personal tools if you use them. If you have made the decision within yourself that you want out. You said you didn't hit it. Please don't buy any products from me. They won't help you. They will only help you if you want to help yourself. And it's more powerful than anything I've ever experienced here. They are all priceless to me because you are priceless. You make them valuable. You don't need to believe in this stuff anymore. Don't. Don't believe in my products, but use them and you'll see they communicate with you because they know how to get home. They are programmed for this and it works. They are in a state of consciousness where they catch you where you are, just like if you have a persona, which is a very, very big protection tool. It picks you up at the frequency where you are. These are quasi-dynamic systems, and he will work on your life over the next 6 months. You can keep a diary. Buy a product and keep a diary of what happens in your life from that point on. I'm telling you, there will be bangs, there will be sparks flying. People in the neighborhood move out, get divorced, separate. There will be construction work. People will want to get into your house. All sorts of things because they think, shit, there's another one who's going to break out of Alcatraz. Your family will turn against you. They'll call you names and say you're in a cult, exactly, because so far you have eaten it out of your hands. These are your confidants. Exactly. Why should they do you any harm? Because they've never felt you before. Because they don't even know who you are. Because they've always said, you may be the weird one, but I love you. You know, why are you so different? Can't you just be normal? No, because you've never been normal. These are all the reasons. And the energetic protection is to be able to pay attention at the highest level and to observe. You don't even have to believe in it, but just watch what happens. And please draw your conclusions after 6 months. Make a cash statement is the best, and then draw your own conclusions. And if what I've said hasn't happened in the slightest, then never come to my site or watch a video of me again. Please just save it, then it's not for you. So the energy products, back to the topic, that are available on the market are created with a machine. These are everything that is artificially created, that was not created by a consciously awakened human being and was discovered by a scientific hand, is inhabited by a demon. And this demon will definitely prevent you from getting in touch with your soul. In other words, you need to have a product that can be connected to your soul so that it can work with you. And it picks you up right where you are. It can't be a one-size-fits-all product. How is that supposed to work? It must be a product that communicates and works with you interdimensionally in all levels of your being, which you are. You are a multidimensional being. I can't just put a metal plate under my computer and assume that it knows who I am. No, that is. Of course, the Tesla stuff is great and Victor Schauberger, but these were scientists making use of alien technology. This does not mean that you can take advantage of this in your soul plan, or that you can take yourself out of your consciousness and recognize where you are here. It may be that many things shield themselves from certain energies that are here. But most of the products on the market, especially the very expensive water filter systems, all the stuff that goes from 1,000 pounds upwards, you should keep your hands off because it's too much energy against your soul development. Because you are agreeing to something that is not yours or that does not support your unity, where you do not want to go. Just look at the inventor. Do you want to look like him? Do you want to? He no longer knows what he has created. They are completely unconscious. You still drink alcohol. And mostly, yes, they are no longer spiritually mature. So what is the maximum they can offer you? They can offer you a shielding product that shields you from your soul. Exactly. Please take a look. I'm not allowed to mention any names, but take a look at all the products on the market, including dietary supplements. Cleansers that supposedly purify your blood and chase all parasites out of your body. Look at the explorers, look them in the eye, and wait for the first moment. Does your heart open, or do you have to talk yourself into it? Yes, or go to a homepage built entirely by marketing companies and see if it touches your heart, or if it just touches your head. And that's what you can get from them. Mental training. Okay. And then please take a look at the homepage where there is a scene that touches your heart that you find cute, but you can't even trust them. But you can take things out and try them out, and if maybe 60%, 50%, hopefully even more you send work, then you can say to that percentage, that's how much I trust that person. And you simply wait until they bring out something new, because they will automatically communicate every step they take to others. Why keep that to yourself? And then you can try it out again. I do, I don't. Does me good, does me no good. And that is simply one of the most important features for energetic protection. If you always. One of the most important things at the end is this demarcation. Always create boundaries, always come back to you and say, okay, this is me and these are the others. The NewCage is constantly trying to talk us out of demarcation. We'll come straight to the summary of the NewCage teachers. They are constantly trying to tell you that everything is good and when you are in love and the mirror issue and when you are not judging. That would be very important now. Jenny, when you listen to her videos, she's just rating and that makes her bad and that makes her negative. Exactly. Because if I take away this opportunity to evaluate something, then I can't set myself apart, then I can't close the door. Then I open all the doors. Just do it physically, please. Once again, you don't have to trust me, but make physical. Open all the windows and doors in your house at the same time. Please just open them all up and say I love you all to all the energies out there. And then please sit for half an hour and be in harmony, in love, and in gratitude, okay? Try it. Get into the pearl of the soul. If all the doors and windows are open, make it real. I'm serious. Everything. Turn on the taps too. Only good water comes out anyway. That's great. What? We have here in the Matrix. Open everything, the manhole covers, the toilet lids, everything. All open, okay? These are the lovely creatures that come in. Love is everywhere. Do you know how much love there is here on this earth? Yes, it is so much more love than anything else. These are the last sayings I took away from the NewCage. You just have to open yourself up to love. Come, so be careful, undress completely naked. That's very important because you were born like this. Very important point. Then open the windows, the toilet seat, and the doors everywhere. It's best to choose any number. On the phone, your favorite contact, open that too, and then go into the pearl of the soul. Just relax. And if you can't relax, then work on yourself. Yes, come on, then there's something wrong with you, and now you're doing the same thing again by closing everything. You turn off the phone, turn off the computers, close the doors and windows, close the manhole covers in your house. Please close the toilet lid, let the water out, close the drawers and cupboard doors, and then sit down somewhere in the most beautiful place in your house and against the pearl of your soul, and please put on something that is easy for you to wear, that makes you happy when you look at yourself with it, that makes you feel good. And now make a pearl of the soul and then please write me the difference, okay? I would really like that. I would love to have a forum like this again where people can exchange ideas. If it weren't for those crap maggots that always nestle in there and then pick people up and take them in completely different directions and say, yes, I can see that. Okay, what Jenny says, but a bit of meat, that can't be so bad. Now, and not such a black slip-on either. No, we can get away from the Jenny a bit. Exactly. I'll tell you something at the end before I take the New Sage teachers apart again. If you want to get out of Alcatraz, you have to do it quickly, 100%, and you can't make a breakout if you only put in 60% and leave the rest black. You know, you make an outburst with all your senses, you chase your way through all levels, you close your eyes and just walk through. You don't listen to what they're trying to tell you along the way, you do your thing. If the prisoners in the cells are shouting on the side, take me with you too. And you can't do that, you can't leave me here. Oh yes I can, because I'm taking time off now. And if you've seen how I did it, then you can do it too. Do you know that you can all break out of your cells on your own, that you don't need me at all? Watch out, I'll lead the way and I'll leave footprints, and then you can follow behind. You can follow in my footsteps, but you can also discuss whether you can turn your foot a little 90 degrees to the right or left. You are welcome to discuss this with me. For me, the answer is always I take my footprint because that's what did it. And if I had walked differently in just one area, I wouldn't be where I am today. Remember this, you make a breakout completely and do the thing without questioning what you're doing. Or you can just leave it as it is. Now a quick note. I have now summarized all the characteristics that I have discovered in the NewCage, in the entire head-washing industry for awakened souls, with which they try to hold us captive and lead us off the path again. Yes, so there is a hierarchy and structure in the seminar, often also a structure or a staircase of seminar part 1, 2, USAN 3, and you are not allowed to do the third part if you haven't done the first. For example, I have distance learning, 1, 2, 3, because I have to number it, but you can start with whichever one you want. There is no staircase, there is no hierarchy, and I am the teacher and you are the student, and when the cake talks, the crumbs have a break. Yes, no, it's not like that. You can ask me questions, you can discuss with me at any time. I am available for anything I say. I would never use that to say I'm higher or anything like that, but they do. The teachers favor each other at NewCage. They also work with entities that give themselves a name in the astral plane, which is the most dangerous tool. They work with symbols. The Unity Man is not a symbol, it is a physical tool, also known as the quantum key. And you can prove with an electrician that neutrino energy comes out of it. Then there are positive and negative poles. This is not a symbol. You can actually only use it by physically using it. You can't stick it to a wall, you can forget it. You can do this with symbols because they are astrally charged. The unified human being. Leave it in your bedroom for a week. In case people still believe that this is a symbol, just leave it there. You'll see he looks like shit. You don't want to touch it, it's gone dark, it stinks. It is simply a piece of blue sheet metal. Yes, but if you charge it and if you work with it every day, then it has a value. This is reversed with symbols. You just slap on a water pipe, some sign like that, and then you have great water. Of course he didn't know how easy it is to make living water. No, too bad I didn't think of it right away. Yes, so stick an ant on it, put a piece of tape over it. It's bound to be a great water because it's alive. That is divine. An ant is a dream, isn't it? Yes. So, what else do we have? They make incenses, they use initiations, they constantly connect with something. My goodness, we don't have to connect with anything. We were already born perfect. They also work with separation awareness, so they are constantly using mental practices, NLP. And what I've often noticed is that they really rarely express genuine love in what they say. They talk about love, but you don't feel it. You can imagine them, you can interpret that into it, but it doesn't really touch your heart, it only touches your head. And what you can also see with mental teachers, i.e. newcast teachers, is that they hardly have any movement in their yes most of the time. So there's hardly any change, it's always the same. Every year the same procedure. Minimal, yes. The greater the movement and change of your NewCage teacher, the less he will be in the position of being one. I've often noticed that they either have no hair, or huge home hairlines, or a half-bald head because they don't have an active crown chakra, so the axiotonal connecting lines are blocked. They have recurring practices and techniques that they use for everyone who comes. By this I really mean that no deviation in any form is possible. You have to do it exactly as they tell you. Then they often sit in a circle, do worship and invocations, preferably with a projector and recordings, so that they can simply speak very well and you have no chance of interrupting their eloquence. Often they even smoke, drink alcohol, eat meat, coffee, preach love, and eat death. Fire candles, of course, must be used to bring the dark creatures into the room. These are all direct portals to the underworld, not without reason. In castles and royal houses, this is the only way it is done, and also in the church with incense and candles. It should be clear to you that they also use incense. They are often not healthy themselves, are usually pear-shaped, fat in appearance, or have the so-called healer's belly you sand, work with fainting and say themselves that they are the greatest, and there is no one who can do it like them. All this separation, often colored clothing, so it's bad to dress your aura so that you have blue at the bottom and yellow or red and black at the top. You can't be two-tone. We are one unit, and with color, I create a separation. If he were to speak from his own wisdom, this must be too clear to him. That would fulfill, so you can really recognize them by their colorful clothes. Lizards and reptiloids especially love orange and green, because the lizards on Earth can also turn exactly the two colors terracotta and green. Yes, you can also see that in the small creatures in the Mediterranean areas or in the jungle. And the mantis, they love blue and gold. Yes, so that is very, very often deposited. Of course, you have to write with something and you have to work with something, but we very often put it on or have it in our practice. Okay, so when they talk, they hardly have any body language. When they say something, their hands are often in the head area and not in the heart because they say things unconsciously with their body language. You have to observe where they are talking from. Yes, they are not talking about their own experiences, but about what they have read, experienced, or learned from others, copying their knowledge and building on the teachings of others. They don't have any everyday examples from your life that you could really relate to. Just for example, reach. Your head must be full, you don't need any recordings, they should be able to answer you immediately. And in such a way that it is fluid, that you can do something with it. Anyone can babble processes that are repeated to death. And it is striking that these teachers often appear out of nowhere. They don't have strong life processes, often no children, family, or partner. Only the head is so great with them. They really don't radiate love in their faces, but you really have to listen to what they say. Then love will come to you. They create dependency on the leader. They often say, for example, it would be good if you attended the next course. Or if you come to me, it's important that you buy this and that product, because without the product you won't get anywhere. I have something like this. For example, never said. You can add this, but you don't have to. It can never be an obligation, and there is hardly any self-empowerment involved. You have to do it exactly as the teacher says. And if you don't say that, you're not a good student and you won't get there anyway. That can't be true. Of course, you have to adhere to a certain framework, but you have to be able to try it out for yourself. They get angry when you leave and are also annoyed if you ask questions in their seminars that they haven't prepared for. Or they write to you by email or call you and make a connection or chat to you during the break and, hey, you've already seen, I have to give you. I had to say that now. I saw a little gray on your base chakra and a spaceship came in earlier when you entered the room. We absolutely have to have a meeting. Yes, you don't do that. Unbelievable. It is a cheeky thing to do to rise up like that. Or I also had students who came to me and said, Jenny, I've brought you something. I have had so many channelings since I saw you. I now know who you are, how we know each other, and I'll give you this letter now. And so that you simply know how we know each other. And we know each other from our previous lives, and I also know who you are and what you've done. Yes, but I'm not going to say that in front of the group. I just tell people that secretly. It's just you and me burning the stuff or presents or something. Please don't accept anything, no gifts ever. And there are none. These are all portals. I don't know if I can manage to make a video about it. It's just too much stuff. Just keep the stuff off your back. Everything you pay for can also be balanced out energetically and converted into your own energy. And it is indeed the case that they are incapable of relationships. They have complicated mental techniques and always follow the same procedure because it is reptilian brain controlled. Or they have great management. Great measures are attracted by all kinds of employees who work for them. They will then approach you. We have an emotionless and childlike joy and the lightness of Usand. So how emotionless they are, and they lack the childlike joy and lightness. And they usually also give free seminars or additional overtime, another hour on top, even though the hour is already up. So they are not demarcated, have no private boundaries, and tell people, you can call me at any time, even at the weekend. Yes, call me if you have a problem. You should never do that, because we are not your problem solvers. You have to solve the problems yourself. Is it your way? We can only show you the footprint. They create dependencies through clairvoyance, as I have already explained. They work with fear, guilt, powerlessness, and karma on a regular basis and try to talk you into bad karma, all the bad things you have done, why you still have a lot of good to do in this life. I had my wife in the seminar. She could barely afford it and said her whole life was. It has been heavily in debt for the last 20 years. And then I asked her how this could have happened. Then she said, I was so clairvoyant as a child. I was so good until I went to a clairvoyant. And when I came into the room, she put her hands over her head and said, for God's sake, child, it's unbelievable what bad energy you have, the way you look. I immediately saw what you did. You are such an evil person. You have ruined so many people in your past life. You must donate the energy you have earned in this life, i.e., your income and your savings. Donate them to the church, to associations, and balance out your bad karma. Do you understand? Then the woman, she was so exhausted because she didn't want to damage any souls. As you know, it really hurts souls when you tell them that. And then she had all her money, took out another loan, which she is still paying off today, and donated all her money. Yes, I mean, it's only my own fault, but it's still an unbelievable mess and impotence to work with. And then they are also constantly working with the past, i.e., with childhood in this life too. And it has to be worked through again and again. No, 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 no. And with things that you said, yes, then it's often like at school with them. Yes, they make themselves bigger and dress differently or don't allow you to use the same tools. I had something like that too. I had someone who bought a Alleinheitsmensch, was an instructor in Austria, and said to his students, yes, I can have it, but unfortunately not you. Yes, you have to do what I tell you, and if you try to find the manufacturer, they have already died, they no longer exist. Yes, something like that was told. Unbelievable, isn't it? Just to be able to powerfully manipulate others. Yes, then it's often the case that they are very loud and take over the room and simply can't empathize when someone else is perhaps not in such a good mood. So they only see themselves. Yes, they are sometimes often very over-friendly. So this Chinese smile and this nice to see you, and you feel exactly that the person is throwing up that you are there. Yes. Well, or they have an extreme aura of power in their aura that you were afraid to mess with them. Then it's usually the case that they have altars or some kind of idol that they offer to followers or something with a photo of some leader from India in it. That would still be it, yes. So as I said, the aim is to dissolve your ego and be guided by it. It's always this watch out. Me, I'll help you, I'll do it for you. Everything is fine. Don't worry about it. Don't ask any questions. Just trust me. In other words, so that you don't actually have a chance to think about it. So it is still possible for you. Or these sayings like, there is no such thing as evil, you send. Yes, don't let Jenny talk you into that. Evil simply does not exist. Evil only exists as long as you are not loving, do not do things, and do not subordinate yourself. When you are in love, everyone else is also in love. This is the herd. If you don't say the word reptile, then it won't give you energy, because you give it energy when you talk about it. Of course we'll do that now too. Let's not call it by its name, because then we can't rule over it. SOS EOS, That's why we're not allowed to say it. They always find a solution. Man, the few Bowie units we have at our disposal are not going to create a reptile. They were there like that. Yes, they've been there since we were children. We feel it at night when the lights are out. Yeah, there were probably too many grannies talking about raptors or what? 10 years ago nobody would have even mentioned the word, but they are here. I wonder how quickly you created them. They were already here, I know, many thousands of years ago, so it's not just a drop in the ocean. Yes, they are simply not taught any boundaries. And of course, the most important thing is to work on yourself and your fears. It is completely unnecessary to protect yourself energetically because you are simply not enough love. Quiet position, because you are not allowed to make a rating. Yes, and what you notice most is that after the seminars, there are not really essential changes in your life. Well, I mean, the teacher can't do it, but you didn't get any impulse or instructions on what to do. It doesn't change in your life, even though you've been going to the same healer for 10 years. And I have now saved the most important thing for last. They mentally push you into your head with a logical explanation as to why you shouldn't listen to your feelings. Remember that. In the end, it is very important that there is a healthy balance between feeling and head. Too little feeling is bad, but too much feeling is also bad. You always have to combine it. You still have to use a bit of logical common sense in everything you do. I once had a client who, after my seminars, after I explained what's going on here on Earth and where we want to go and so on, she sold everything, sat down in a hole, had no more money and said, "Okay, Jenny, I've now done everything you said. I've taken away the salt, I'm now wearing white clothes, and now I'm sitting here in my apartment waiting for my epiphany." Sure, go ahead. Break all the tools I have out. Just break it by structuring it like a machine. That doesn't help anyone. And I don't want any Jenny Lemmings either. Imagine if they were all out there like me. Terrible, how boring. Human beings, we are individuals. And that means that in the end, an individual comes out of it. And you certainly won't be like me. Yes, otherwise I'll ban you from contact. So in that sense, pura vida. And I hope that the video was clear again because I keep getting emails. How can I protect myself energetically? That is my answer. So in the future, I want to focus on other things. My knowledge is over as far as that is concerned. See you soon.